Hi, Blake with BlvdHome. We've done a couple other videos, but this is going to be our third video in this series. We're going to do the testing, see how well this unit works. This is a Samsung bespoke AI all-in-one unit. This was sent to us for testing, so we're going to test to see actually how good it does. So we're going to use different types of clothes on different types of cycles to see how well it washes. We're going to see how well the Aqua Pebble here works, you know, this device here that you're supposed to put your powder soap in. And we're going to use pods, the washing pods, and you're supposed to put them in this Aqua Pebble. See, pods get caught into things with this. When it's in here, it will kind of stay in here until it's ready to go in. So we're going to use the Aqua Pebble for this, because sometimes pods kind of get your clothes kind of gunky and yucky because they don't break down properly. First, we're going to check the speed wash on this. Less than 10 pounds of laundry should take approximately an hour and 40 minutes. We're going to be running a king size comforter. We're going to be running that on the bedding cycle. And then we've got a normal cycle just of jeans, everyday wear. We're going to run that on the Opti cycle. Now that's the AI cycle, where you're going to have a bunch of different sensors in there that measures how dirty the clothes are, and the machine will determine how long it needs to wash, how much soap needs to be put into it. If we're using the dispensers, let's get this machine loaded up, get this Aqua Pebble in, and get this thing going, and we'll give you the results at the end. It's been a few days since we've done our testing on the Samsung all-in-one unit. We're going to tell you our results and what we feel about the machine and our final thoughts on this machine. One of the biggest things that we found out in washing this machine with every cycle that we did, and we'll go into the specifics of the cycles, but every cycle, it said, as far as estimated time, it was way off. It wasn't even in the ballpark of where it should have been. It was much, much longer than it said it was going to be. Did it do a great job of drying? I'll be honest with you, the drying ability really shocked me, because compared to the GE units and the LG units, the stuff came out of this machine very dry, which was a pleasant surprise. The other machines, when they come out, they feel like it's kind of dampish, but this machine did a great job drying. But as far as the times that it took, I'm very disappointed personally in the actual results for the time. Take, for example, our first load that we did, and this was just 7 or 8 pounds of clothing. It was just normal jeans, normal sweatshirts, just normal stuff that you would have. It wasn't even really a big load. So the claim is it will do the super speed cycle in 28 minutes of washing plus a dry for anything less than 10 pounds. Well, our load was definitely less than 10 pounds. As we watched this, thinking, okay, we got plenty of time to finish this before we get to go home for the evening, and we were way wrong. We had to stay here long after that. The machine ran approximately an hour and 20 minutes just for the wash cycle only. So when we switched over to the drying part of the cycle, when it switched over automatically, it popped up to another 48 minutes of drying time. Kept drying it, kept letting it go through this thing. We finally shut it off about halfway through that cycle because it was taking even longer than what that said. So halfway through the cycle, we actually had to close down for the night, and we actually stopped it and pulled everything out. There's approximately 20 minutes left on the cycle. Now, the clothes were dry. Amazingly, they were pretty dry. It's not to say that the machine may have sensed this and may have all of a sudden dropped time, because it did on some other cycles where we were able to wash the whole thing. When it said that there was longer times that were going to be there, and then all of a sudden the times dropped a lot, significantly. It dropped toward the end. Still, it took way longer than it should have, because then that's one of their biggest advertising points. Washes and dries quickly in an hour and a half. I bet it does, but you probably have to do like one article in there for it to do it, because other than that, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to be disappointed in the results, because it isn't as quick as they are advertising. In reality, for a normal cycle, for a normal family, it's probably going to take longer, because again, we didn't put much in there. I will say, for this cycle we did run, because it did have animal hair, pet hair, and stuff on it, it did do a great job of taking the hair away from it. You know, normally with other machines, we've had other videos, you can go back and check them, when we've had the long-term use of the LG machine, there was lots of pet hair that was in the condenser, and it was all clogged up in the evaporator and the condenser. Well, this did a great job of actually removing them, not being in the machine, and catching them in the lint filter itself. I will give kudos to them for that, because it did a great job. It did wash them properly. I mean, there was no complaints as far as how well the clothes came out, how clean they came out. The end end results were very favorable. Now, again, we use the Aqua Pebble. Still cracks me up when they call that, but I can just see this Aqua Pebble being lost somewhere. Just so you know, people that's going to use this Aqua Pebble for the pods or for their soap, I'm telling you, you're going to have to watch your laundry very close. It's kind of like that elusive sock that gets stuck somewhere, because I know this is going to get stuck somewhere. So when you use the Aqua Pebble, be sure you keep an eye on it. But anyhow, we used a pot in that Aqua Pebble and it came out really nice. But as far as the time-wise goes, you have to throw that out the window because you're not going to get it and you're going to be really disappointed. Okay, for our second test cycle on this, we did basically a load of jeans, a few t-shirts, but mostly jeans in this. Now we did the OptiWash cycle, the AI cycle on it, where it measures how dirty it is. We didn't use the Aqua Pebble. My favorite word of the day, Aqua Pebble. We use the actual automatic dispensers on this unit, so they're underneath, kind of at the bottom, and I will tell you, they're kind of not very convenient to get to. When the machine started and it did all of its tests, when it did its spinning and measuring everything, figuring out the load, it said it's going to take 2 hours and 43 minutes. It was pretty close as far as time on it. It did complete the whole cycle in 3 hours and 6 minutes total, which is pretty good. One thing I do like about it, that it did pop the door open on the machine when it was done, letting you know the machine's done and letting it air out, which I really like. When we pulled the stuff out of the machine, again, the clothes were extremely dry. It felt just like a regular dryer, but still over 3 hours to wash this load. Normal amount of lint, so it did a great job. The next load, and I know what everyone's gonna say, because you're gonna look at this and you're gonna say, you put that in there? Well, yes, we did. We put a king size comforter in this thing. You're saying, that's kind of big. Well, we're trying to mimic real world representations, because you know as well as I know, you're going to stick that in there. If you have that comforter, you're going to stick it in that machine. You're going to try to wash that machine. So I got a wash machine for, right? I spent this much money on this washer. By dang, it's going to wash it, or it's going to die trying, because I'm going to kill it. So we stuck this big king size comforter in there. This one took a while. I cannot tell you how long this took. I mean, this was like an all-day arduous process to wash this king-size comforter. When it started this, after it did its thing, it said it's going to take 4 hours and 49 minutes to wash this cycle. Well, when we get to the dry cycle, it adjusted to 6 hours and 49 minutes to dry this king-size comforter. Hope you like waiting. Again, we're talking real world situations that people are going to try to do. When this finally got dry, and it did finally dry, from beginning to end, it took over 7.5 hours. That is like a whole day to do that one thing. So I hope you have nothing else planned to wash that day, because you're not going to wash anything else. Now, one thing I will say, even though this thing was in this big ball in this machine, there were zero, and I mean zero wet spots. We checked this thing high to low. We checked everything in this machine. There were no wet spots. This machine dries. I don't know what they've done. I don't know how they've done it. I was expecting this thing is no way this thing is going to be dry, but it was. Now, one thing that they don't tell you on the machine through its tutorial on the machine, or the little quick guide they give you, that's another beef that I've got with their quick guide they give you, because it tells you nothing. When you get into the actual use and care manual online for this machine, then it gives you the specifics of what you actually need to do. With this, and because it is a fine mesh, and once we did take it apart and started looking at the lint on this, there was a lot of lint on there, and cleaning it off was pretty difficult getting it off. They do tell you in the online manual for this that every cycle, I said it right, that you need to take the lint filter apart and you need to run it under water to clean it and let it dry. Nobody's going to do that. And you know, the manufacturers, they're going to say, we put it in writing, you don't follow it, you're not using it properly. So I'm telling you up front, that is something they tell you to do. Be mindful of that with this machine. Definitely check out the use and care manual online. It is going to be your best friend with this machine. So one thing I do like about this machine is it does run water across the condenser. Before it starts to dry, it says rinse in the condenser. Like on the LG machine where we're getting all that hair and stuff on it, this one actually does flush the condenser with water to help get rid of all the dust and the lint and stuff that does accumulate on it during the cycle, so you don't have to clean as much. Overall, for an all-in-one, I'm pretty impressed. You're gonna say, you don't sound that way from why you're being negative about it. Well, yeah, I have to give the negative and the positive, but an all-in-one machine in general, from a technician standpoint, the hairs stand up on the back of my neck when I hear all-in-one machine and it's broken. I will tell you, they are hard to fix. I don't care which one they are. They're not easy. They're time-consuming. they're difficult. They've stuffed a lot of things in a very small box. So it scares me. But as far as this machine working and working as designed and cleaning and drying especially, it does a really great job. My biggest gripe with this unit is the estimated time. Of all the ones that we've tested so far, personally, I think this one washes as good or better than the other machines. The laundry does smell cleaner coming out of this machine with the use of the Aqua Pebble. I've been the most impressed with the machine at the end of the testing of any of the other machines. So take it for what it's worth. Now we're going to take this machine and we're going to put it in a home, and we're going to be doing some longer testing on this. We're going to go back and try to review this at 6 months and also at a year and see how well it's doing in a home environment with normal everyday use with kids, and see how well it does and how well the machine holds up as far as maintenance, breakdowns, how well it's functioning for them and how well it's working with their life. But again, if you're looking at an all-in-one unit, I definitely wouldn't shy away from this particular machine. If you have any comments, please put them below. Be happy to answer them for you. Please like and subscribe. We'd like to see you again soon. And with that, you can get other updates and check out our other videos. We have a lot of other videos on a lot of other things that you might find useful for your particular situation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.